Welcome to Live DAF, your online DAF Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem, welcome back to today's DAF, Bava Kamma DAF Kuf. We begin 3 lines off the top with a story. Reish Lakish. Ach bilei dinra. So Reish Lakish took a coin and presented it to an expert, Rabbi Elazar. Okay, so Rabbi Elazar was an expert on coins, and he can certify that in fact this coin in question is a legitimate a coin, and as a result, Reish Lakish accepted that coin from his customer or whatever. Amar Ma'al Yehu. So Rabbi Elazar confirmed, he certified it as a proper coin. Amar Lei, so Reish Lakish turns to Rabbi Elazar. Be careful. Chazi, take a look. Listen to me. Da'aloch kasamichna. I'm relying on you. Allah kasamchina. I'm taking your word for it, and therefore I'm accepting the coin and just making sure. Amar Lei, so Rabbi Elazar responds, why are you adding this warning statement? Ki samchas alai ma'lememra. What do you mean? What do you mean to say? Well, I'm relying on you. What's the point of saying that? Do you mean to say di'i mishtakach bisha, that if in fact it turns out that it's it's a poor quality coin, it's a counterfeit coin or whatever, so you're going to hold me accountable, but I will be required to switch it for you? Is that what you mean to say? I'm responsible for any consequences? Is that what you mean to say? The question is, atu the amras, haven't you yourself told us? Reb Meir the din and the garmi. It's only Reb Meir who applies a din by garmi. Garmi and grama, according to some Rishonim, is really one and the same. Basically, causing damage by indirect action, such as here. At worst, just causing you damage by misleading you as to the nature and value of the coin. So you yourself told us it's only Reb Meir who acts, who imposes obligation when one causes damage indirectly. My love, shall we not assume what you meant to say is Reb Meir? Reb Meir is of that opinion, but we don't adopt that view. That being the case, I wouldn't be responsible. So why are you being so? Says Gemara, no. Amar Lei, Reish Lakish says, no, actually, Loi, Reb Meir usvirul and kabasei. True, Reb Meir is the one who promotes Dina de Garmi, but we adopted that view as well. That's the halacha l'mas, and therefore I'm sort of pre-warning you. Take a good look at that coin before you certify it, because you're going to be responsible for any consequences. Asks the Gemara, where do we find Reb Meir's shita, the doin Dina de Garmi, who applies the din by grama as well? Hi, Rabbi Meir. Ilay Rabbi Meir desnan. Is it Rabbi Meir in the following mission? Mechsecha Sanhedrin. So we have a dayan, a Jewish judge, danas adin. Okay, so he concludes the din Torah, and he made a mistake. He made a big error. He mixed things up. Zika es hachayev, the guilty party, he considered innocent. Chiyev es hazakai, he obligated the fellow who shouldn't, be obligated. Or when it comes to the halachas of tumah v'tahara that he was asked, he switched it around. Timei es hatoher, something was meant to be tahar, and he decided that it's tamei, and he ruled accordingly. Or the other way around, tiher es hatamei, he made something tamei into tahar. Masha asa asa. Okay, done is done. V'yishalmi basic, but he has to pay. He has to compensate for that loss. And this is a Mishnah, which is a Stam Mishnah without a name, and presumably it's Reb Meir's Shita. Stam Mishnah is Reb Meir. There you go. The dayan is held accountable for causing damage. Well, Haytmar Allah, haven't we learned the pshat on that Mishnah? Amar Allah, Amar Rav, who the dayan, the judge, the Rav, is only responsible provided that he got physically involved. There was a physical act involved. He physically took it and gave it. He physically directly caused damage. But if it's just garama, he wouldn't be chayiv. And Rashi goes through all the different ways that his physical involvement can bring damage. So for instance, we have zika es chayiv. You should be paying, and he says, no, you're exempt. So, for instance, the malve, the creditor, had a mashkoin, right? He had an item that he took as a collateral, and the dayan, the judge, decided that the money is no longer owed. Right? He erroneously decided that the money is not owed anymore, and he forced the malva to give up the mashkan. So he actually physically took the mashkan, the collateral, from the malva, who was rightfully holding on to it. And he gave it to the leiva, thereby, causing him to give up that claim. He no longer has where to take the money from. So that's an act, that's a maaseh. It's not just a grama. In the next case, we have Chiyuv Zakai, explains Rashi. Let's just see Rashi inside. 4 lines off the top. Shenosa v'nosan b'yad. Says Rashi like this. Zika Zachayev, as we just explained. Shoyeli mashkan l'malva, mimenu. The malva was holding onto a mashkan. V'notel dayin l'mashkan, v'zira leiva. The mashkan decided the leiva is exempt, and he took the mashkan and gave it back to the leiva. So he physically got involved and he exempted the leiva by doing so. And the next we have V'chiyuv Zakai, the other way around. He obligated an innocent person, monetarily. How can that come about through physical interference? He physically took money from the defendant, who really was innocent, and he forced him to take. He took his money, gave it to the opponent. So he himself did a masa to pay the money. He took something which was really tar and turned it into tummy, not just by way of his verdict or his psak. It wasn't just a verbal process. There was a physical involvement as well. Notal sheretz biyadayim v'zorki oleh l'tamei. He decided to get really, serious about it and to demonstrate the tumah of this item. So what did he do? To prove his point, he took a sheretz, a dead creature, and he threw it onto the fruit to show that it's really tamei. Lahachzik dvarav, to substantiate his opinion. He was trying to prop himself up and to v'tiras hatamei. How's that? Notal adayin lepiras tameim. He decided that this thing is really tohar when it was really tamei. So again, in order to substantiate his view, to establish his position, he actually demonstrated it to a point of no return. He took the peras tameim and he mixed it up. V'irbanim shar peras. Ha'ish hashelei, and he mixed it amongst the other pairs of this fellow. Poor guy, now everything's tamei. Umazik. It's not just a garama, it's not just causation, it's not just an indirect cause. It was a masi b'yadayim, it's a mazik. So, that being the case, it's unrelated to grama. Okay, so we're on to the search. Where is this Rameir who acts upon Dina de Garmi? Says the Gemara, Elaha Rab Meir, Desnan, Litzbaya Lay Adam, V'Savei Shachar. I gave the fellow some wool to dye red, he dyed it black. Shachar, V'Savei Adam, black, he dyed it red. Rab Meir, Eimer, Noisen Beit Simrei. The fellow has to pay me back my wool. No, so what do we see? That he's liable for these mistakes. Well, says the Gemara again, that's not just causation, that's not just grama hasam covered with a dime. It was a physical act. He painted it the wrong color. So that doesn't work. Elohar Rab Meir, we found a different Rab Meir. Once again, we have a Stam Mishnah, the Snan Mishnah in Kalayim. So he lives next to this grain farmer, and he hauls his vines over the other fellow's grain. So in this case, it turns into kulayim. There's a mix between the vines and the wheat. Harisa kidesh. So first of all, it becomes asur. Kidesh is a lashon of asur, separation, right? He causes the grain to become forbidden. B'chayev, and now he's liable for that damage. Well, says the Gemara, that's not a case of grama. It's a direct act. Hasam nabika avad b'yadayim. He actually brought his vines there, so that's a direct act of damage. El Rab Meir, we have a different Rab Meir and a brayse of the Sanya. Mechitzas hakerem shenifratza. So Rashi explains the halacha is you can actually grow vines right next to wheat, provided there's a fence in between, which makes that separation, two separate entities, two separate growing areas. It does not constitute kilayim, it's not asr. But now let's say the mechitzas akeram, the fence of that vineyard, shenivritza, which collapses, it breached. And now you got to quickly fix it up before the tevuah grows and becomes asr. So the farmer turns to the vineyard owner, Gedor, please shore up the fence before it makes my tevuah asr. Nifritza Gedor. So again, it's still open, and again he warns him, please. And he didn't do it. Nisyayish mimena v'lo gadra. And the fellow just, was lackluster about it, did not repair the breach. And the tevuah grew, Rashi says it grew, echad mimosayim, which basically means that if the amount that it grew in its kilayim state was one portion in 200 of permissible portions. So basically, let's say it was, just for argument's sake, let's say it was 200 millimeters high, the stalk, right? And it grew 1 more millimeter, that's okay, because that 1 millimeter that grew in its kilayim, in its mixed up state, is batal, becomes nullified in the total mix. Because 1 is batal in 200, but if it's a greater share than that, a greater amount than that, it becomes asr. Here is a kiddush. And who's responsible for that? The vineyard owner who left his gate open. Here we go. Grama, and you're chayiv. Shita Rabbi Meir. And according to Rish Lakish, we also follow that shita and is chayiv. Says the Mishnah, no, you saying tzemer l'tzaba. Okay, so we have this case again where he handed his raw, wool material to the tzaba, the fellow who would dye it. And it got burnt in the vat. Totally destroyed. So the fellow has to pay me back for that wool. But as Rashi explains, here there's no shavach factor, no added value factor, because it just got burnt up before it even absorbed any color. There's nothing to talk about. It's gone. Okay? What about case number 2? Tzva chor. In contrast to the previous case where it's totally destroyed. Here, the wool is here, but he didn't do such a good job dyeing it. He used remnant paint. It wasn't really good quality paint. You have the wool dyed, but inferior quality. Rashi calls him a mazik b'kavana. He's an outright mazik. So he gives it back he returns the material to the owner, but he wants to get paid. Halacha is like this: I owe him something, but whatever is less, either expenses that he expended or the added value to the item. Whichever is less, that's how much I pay. Rashi calls it yodoi ala tachtoina. He has the weaker stance. I have the upper hand over him. I can give him the lesser amount. Im hashvach, if the added value to the material is yaser al yitzia, is greater than the amount of money that he spent on his ingredients, I just give him for his expenses. The other way around, if his expenses exceed the added value of the item, I just give him whatever the item or the material increased in value due to his effort. In the next case we have here, this fellow totally defied my instructions. I asked him to do it red, he did it black. Shachar, tzavei adam, black, red. So here Rashi says he was kaina b'shina, he changed. He made a new entity, uncalled for. So Rabbi Meir Omer noisily made simra. So really the item belongs to the tzaba, to the professional, it's his. It's like he stole it. And he just pays me back for the raw material. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, no, we apply a penalty, and once again, he's at a disadvantage, and I give him the lesser of the two amounts. Im ha-shvach yaser al yitzia, if the shvach is greater than the expenses, noisin loy, es ha-yitzia. If ha-yitzia yitzer al shvach, noisin loy, es ha-shvach. So in the second case we have chor. He did it, bad. My chor, what does that mean? Amar Rav Nachman, Amar Rabba bar Chana kalbus. That's what it means. My kalbus, what does that mean? Amar Rabba bar Shmuel, kafra duti. Says Rashi on top, kineach beis hayira. He took my material and he used it to wipe his vat. Kolema b'shiyori tzava. He wiped his paint can with my. So the remnants, the second, second-hand paint. Shenishtar b'yira tzavai. That's what he used to dye it with, and as you can understand, it wasn't such an effective process. Kufra lashon kinuach. Kufra means to wipe. So bottom line is, it ended up being poor quality, and the halacha is as we explained in the Mishnah. Okay, pretty short DAF today. So we have the halacha of grama, garmi. We have the first case where he destroyed the material, he has to pay it up. The second case, he dyed it but poor quality, he's at a disadvantage in terms of how much he gets paid. And in the third case, he was kaina b'shinoi. We have machlekes Rav Meir, who says, okay, you just pay for the raw material. And Rabbi Yehuda says he gets paid. Basically, he has to return everything to the owner, and he just gets paid the lesser of the two amounts. All the best to you, and Hatzlacha Rabbah.